Well, thank you very much, Fiona Mbabazi. Now, it is about that time. In our complimentary studio, we have with us my colleague Eugene Anangwe and our guest for the day. Over to you, Eugene.
Thank you very much, George Ndirango. It's good to be back, and let's get to the business of the day. Now, in studio with us is none other than Rehema Muniu. She is the Director MediaCT at Ipsos, or others refer to it as Ipsos. So which is which, first of all?
It's Ipsos.
It's Ipsos.
Yeah, and the right name is MediaCT.
MediaCT.
Yes.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. So very quickly, your institution has set up shop here in Rwanda. And of course, there has been reaction from various quarters. What is your strategy, if you can start with that?
Our key strategy is basically to look at how advertisers and media owners can benefit from media monitoring in terms of strategies and in terms of knowing exactly how much are they spending in media. For instance, if it's an advertising agency, they want to know how much they've been spending, or their competitors, they're able to look at this data and analyze it. We actually analyze the data for you and put in insights that will be able to give you an indication of strategies, an indication of how much you may need to spend, an indication on which station you may need to start spending on. In terms of media owners, it also gives you an indication of what your competitors are getting from the advertisers. If you find that you're not amongst the beneficiaries of a particular campaign, we send alerts that can inform you of which advertiser has started advertising, and then
what they are advertising.
And then you're able now to approach those advertisers and seek for some revenue from them.
Okay.
Yes.
Now these are some of the plans that you have, and this is one of the, or some of the key elements of the areas that you will be diverging into deeply. But immediately, what are you going to be starting with?
We will be starting with media monitoring. Media monitoring is basically verification of ads, as I've said. So we look, we basically monitor all the media stations, and we are starting off with radio stations.
When you say monitor, what exactly do you mean by this?
So, for instance, if you have a campaign on air and you want to know, to verify that that campaign has been aired by that particular media house or the various media houses that you've booked your media on, we have a software that monitors this information. This information can then now be relayed to you almost real time.
When it airs?
When it airs.
And the time it airs?
The time it airs, the actual name of the campaign. It gives you an indication of where, in terms of placement, where exactly was it placed. Is it in the morning? If it's during news, is it mid-news? Is it after news? So we give you an indication of that. So we'll start off with media monitoring of adverts and also editorial monitoring. Editorial monitoring is unpaid for publicity. This is ideally important for PR companies and corporate communications departments. So we monitor in terms of articles that let's say that were published, and we give you an analysis of that. We give you an indication of how the media is portraying you out there.
I want us to look at the benefits for those in the corporate world, because in the previous past, we have not been having scientifically proven information or data to guide those in the corporate world when they want to spend. Anytime you ask someone which is your favorite radio station, someone tells you basing on what they like, but without any facts. How are you going to be dealing with this part?
Now, we are planning to also look into audience research, which will come later on. Our first initial plan was media monitoring, but in the next few months, we will be launching audience research, which gives you an indication of who exactly is watching your station.
I want to end it at this, but of course, there's one quick question that I cannot leave without asking you. Ipsos has not been having a good name across the board when it comes to your operations in Kenya. From the opinion polls that you've been carrying out in Nairobi on the elections, we have political parties feeling that your company has been bought by the opposite political or the opponents. How are you going to build that trust here in this country?
Well, I must say from a media monitoring angle, what I would like to emphasize is that we are not only a polling company. We don't only do polling research. In fact, polling research makes a small percentage of our revenue. Our focus in this particular market is media monitoring, and we can build trust by giving an indication. We are currently in 6 other markets, and actually most of the advertisers are quite excited that we are launching this service. We are being told we are long overdue. So because of our history, we've been in operation since 1982, and most of these advertisers who are in this market are also in our other markets, Kenya, Uganda.
So that's how you plan to counter that issue of trust.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Rehema Muniu, for your time. Asante sana.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it, Rehema Muniu from Ipsos, and of course she's been digesting some of the issues that they will be focusing on in their strategy right here in Rwanda. I'm going to be handing over back to George Ndirango in our other studio.
Well, thank you very much, Eugene. I had really missed your insightful interviews. I hope the direct beneficiary for Ipsos will be TV10. Yeah, so with your permission, let's continue with the news today. Now, as we had mentioned earlier, the fight against pollution cannot